did great, but he also kind of opened Spire like every game, and it just worked out every game, and Lambo kind of crumbled under the pressure. This is a different test, I think, in a player like MaxPax who can take it to the late game and thrives in every stage. And like you said, is the Protoss player to beat, maybe the best Protoss player in the world. So tall task ahead of himself here as he goes for the 12 pull on Rat Huset Station in the bottom left-hand side. It's Wayne.
Young money.
In the top right, it's going to be our red Protoss MaxPax. How does a 12 pull work on this map? I'm trying to think about what to say about it. I'm like, I'm not really sure.
It's very difficult to assess. I mean, there is a debris that only has 400 HP, so I guess that could be like a plan B after your opponent walls off. There's that extra little bit of grounds that you can gain before the Adept is out or something. Or, yeah, I mean, this is the real answer, is he's going to be proxy hatching as well and trying to kill his opponent no matter what. So this is a very committed attack, and this is what I wanted to see from Wayne, because again, what I was saying about in the series of Lambo was kind of preempting the fact that Wayne didn't have to get super creative against Lambo. He just played a very solid game, and he didn't have to sneak too much past Lambo, right? He was just going for solid early Spire, make 4 or 5 Muta openers into just very solid macro roach play and kind of outmaneuvered his opponent, but not going to be able to do that against MaxPax, so I like this approach a little bit better. A lot better.
A lot better. As you see our probes. Gonna pull in and fight that hatchery, but the lings are coming. And you see MaxPax, though, fully walled. First zealot's already out. What do you do at this point as Wayne Cats? Like, is there a way to make this work, or is this just MaxPax completely shutting this down?
I think you gotta go for those debris right now. You gotta click on the debris, weird as it is. Yeah, I mean, that's the only thing that you can do, because the debris will die. You know, you need an extra pylon there if you're MaxPax, so it's the only thing that you could have gone for. And now MaxPax has to engage with the double zealots. The hatchery is continuing to delay him on his side of things. There is also gold out on the map, but Wayne doesn't really have map control that he can get easily, because he's not gonna get link speed anytime soon. So now that the Adepts are out, the timing on the debris is gone, and yeah, MaxPax basically holds, but it's not cheap either, right? Like, this is playable for Wayne.
There's a lot of pros off the line for a long time. You invest in a double gateway, so Wayne will have some ways to catch up in the economy. His own hatchery is obviously very far along as well in comparison to MaxPax, so 100% benefits available.
Yeah. I think that Wayne abandoned the debris a little bit too early as well. Like, maybe he could have forced like a couple extra pylons or something like that if he had kept on it. But with the 2 zealots going out, he only had 8 links. Right? If he had planned ahead and thought like, okay, I'll make 10 links or 12 links and really commit to that, it might have paid dividends there. But with just 8 links, you can't fight those 2 zealots, so he had to disengage.
Well, disengage he did. Now 2 Adepts going to move up. You can see that Queen's still in some trouble. No, not really trouble, but we'll take some shots. And the Zealot showing up, maybe it will start to be in trouble, as MaxPax's counterattack looks to force more units rather than letting Wayne drone freely. The Adepts will get a couple of lings right there. The Zealot's first one going down, but honestly, a lot of lings already dead, and these Adepts barely touched, so they are healthy if they want to keep diving in towards mineral lines and drones now. And Wayne didn't build that many more lings, so it's starting to run dry there. For the moment, at least, MaxPax is going to step away, though.
Yeah, but that's great for MaxPax. I mean, he gets to use his zealots, which he has no right to use on this side of the map, really. And the queen is actually actively very likely to go down. There's no queens in the main. MaxPax knows that. There's only slow circling, so of course he's going to finish this shade. He's going to start killing drones left and right. And yeah, these Adepts might die, but not before they kill, like, way too much.
Yeah, they are going to get so much damage done, as you're insinuating here, Cats. This is going to just be pretty much clean and simple. Just clean it up and away we go. 6 drones down already, and
no Adepts have fallen either yet, so
yeah, it's just kind of ridiculous, right? There's one more as we shade out. There's a Adept will still not die, and we are just going to get out of there. So fantastic stuff, good control, and it really is just MaxPax having fun at this point. Opened and defended well, and is now reaping the benefits.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was beautiful. And the way he offered the Zealots as well was great in the first altercations. Like you were saying, because Wayne was looking for the surround onto the Adepts, but again, he only had those 8 circlings. So it's a very difficult decision to make to try to surround the Adepts and ignore the Zealots, which are going to output more damage and are obviously far less dangerous. They can't sneak in like the Adepts. So that first altercation, he ends up going for the Zealots, but bleeds out so many circlings. And just for the follow-up, like there's just not nearly enough for Wayne, so not even focus firing the Adept that's super low there with a Queen. Could have definitely died.
Oh my god, 1.2 to 400 resources. That's a massive 800 plus resource gap. In fact, it's 900. That's ridiculous. Oracle comes in, nabs itself 2 kills as well, just to add in on the fun. It's a free-for-all right now. If you want to get a couple drone kills on your record, today is the day. Just show up in Wayne's natural and you'll probably get some, because he has no control over this situation.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so difficult. And MaxPax getting as much juice as possible out of this. I mean, all of these Adepts have survived for way too long. No HP on those. Finally, they will fall. But he just waits until the shields are back up, goes in and tries again. These Oracles now with a fresh one tanking at the front are gonna look for more damage. So look up at the drone count ranking up, raking up kills. There are those Oracles. Now the Adepts at the natural 7. 8 additional ones. How many workers have fallen so far in this game? Is there a way to tell that? It's
20.
20. I mean, 6 minutes in. That's wild.
That's a lot of drone kills per minute, man. A lot more than what you usually see.
And this is not an all-in or anything, right?
No,
like,
no, this is just a follow-up.
This is not like glaives or exactly. This is just the first few Adepts, the first couple of Oracles. It's just MaxPax making magic of a successful defense early on.
Yep. No, can't say anything else but agree, right? Like, this really is just MaxPax just taking advantage of the situation that Wayne put himself in. He chose to do this. Like you say, maybe there's a little more you could have done. MaxPax defended very well, though, and just really kind of limited the choices.
Mm-hmm. And from then on, it's like, oh, you got no gas? Well, I guess you have no speed. I guess I can run around you in circles forever with my Adepts and leverage the Zealot so beautifully. And, I mean, it's impressive that Wayne... You know, you look at the supply and it looks competitive. That's impressive in itself, because MaxPax has just punched him in the face so many times this game.
Yeah, the supply is competitive, but we've got a lair that's not doing anything. There's no structure on the way to utilize it.
Mm-hmm.
He has got a fair bit of gas, so maybe there'll be a little bit of something there. As you say, there's a couple of Adepts coming through, and then Creep Tumors will start to go down.
Yeah. I mean, 2 Adepts, they could kill everything. You never know. Hydra then now on the way. Blink on the other side of things as MaxPax gets geared up for just a gateway explosion, perhaps, of sorts. At the moment, there's only just the 6. Observer making its way out, but also the +1 attack. Only 4 gases have been taken as he takes his 4th base now. So really, the onus is on Wayne to make something happen, but weirdly enough, it's MaxPax who is moving out and has map control and is at no risk of doing so. He has Oracles, he has Blink Stalker soon, so he can do this. He can disengage if he needs to, he can recall if he needs to, he can set stasis traps if he wants to be safe, and he's winning on the eco front as he's potentially killing his opponent, if not just piling up on the pressure here.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say that this is probably looking as though MaxPax has just got this game, because these Stalkers can trade. Obviously, Blink's about to come up, so they're only going to start trading better. As a couple Hydras start to push down, but obviously so many Stalkers warp in, and with the economies that we've had, it's just going to be a scenario where MaxPax will outbuild Wayne, and then he will out-trade Wayne because of, again, the fact that his units are just so much more microable. As he attacks up the ramp, a couple of Lings actually pop out of stasis, get a couple of Stalker kills is the only good thing that happened there for Wayne. It lowered the numbers, but the Hydra count is running on fumes. There's a couple extra Stalkers warp through. Fortunately for Wayne, a couple of Lings will show up for the moment, but we are currently just putting off the inevitable, it feels like.
Oof. Yeah, holding does absolutely nothing for you if you're Wayne here, right? Like, it's like MaxPax, again, doesn't need to be on the other side of the map. He's there because he's at basically no risk of being there. There's no possibility for a counterattack that punishes him whatsoever. He's just playing with his food effectively. I mean, he is on 4 base now. His opponent is trying to take a 4th, but hasn't been able to. And yeah, things don't really improve for Wayne up until the point where MaxPax can make a crucial mistake. Maybe if an Infestor comes out and fungles everything, and then your glass cannon units are on top of it, and you know, you forgot to transition into Colossus and Disruptors or something like that. There's some modicum of a choice, but for now, looking pretty grim.
Looking very grim. Yeah, that's I don't want to be negative, but sometimes it's just how it is, and this game was so well set up for MaxPax. The only thing you can say is that Wayne didn't die yet, and he's on his way to Hive and a Lurker.
Yep.
All of this is off lower economy than usual, but you know, maybe there's a hope. Getting caught in a stasis with half your Hydras probably ain't gonna help though.
Ain't gonna help, and MaxPax is actually just gonna blink on past that group of Hydras and look to engage with the remaining ones. So Wayne has had enough of it. He will tap out, and yeah, props to him and hats off for kind of, you know, staying in the game for way longer than he had any real right to. But you know, he was trying to make something happen. It's not like he should have left earlier. Like, you know, like he, I think, stayed until he ran out of steam, and it's just props to him for not running out of steam earlier, because he by all means should have.
Yeah, can't really add much else, man. I mean, this game was really decided when Wayne chose to be, chose to be aggressive, and it kind of went all wrong. So yeah, MaxPax really came up with a good defense, put himself in a good position, and here we stand, readied up for game number 2 as MaxPax, our favorite, of course, going into this series. It's going to be up 1-0. We'll see what Wayne has planned for Solaris, which can be another map catch that definitely has some intriguing potential.
Yeah. You know, one of the toughest things when you come up with like strategies like Wayne did, like that's cool. Like the 12 pull to break the debris after, that's cool. That's not an option that you have on most maps. That is an option that, like, you know, the pylon doesn't actually cover that area. So if you want to defend it as MaxPax, you would actually have to make an additional 2 pylons and stuff like that. But when you're playing up against like very good players, what you want to do a lot of the time is get away with the bare minimum to force out the maximum that you can out of them. So I understand the reasoning behind like making just 8 circlings, but you know, like if he had made 10 or 12, I feel like there was much more potential to where the Zealots can't get out, the debris is broken, you're making the game more uncomfortable, etc. And then for me, where the game was really decided is when MaxPax crosses the map and you again don't have enough circlings to commit onto the Adepts, and MaxPax is good enough that he will make that call based on the number of circlings, right, positionally. So because you can't surround the Adepts, you have to go for the Zealots, which are the short kill. But the Zealots are the kind of units that's just completely disposable. MaxPax doesn't care for, so to trade any number of circlings for them, and he traded well, just made it too easy for the follow-up on Adepts. Whereas if he caught the Adepts somehow, if he had 10 links instead of 8 again, and catches the Adepts, then the next 2 Adepts, they don't just kill you, right?
Yeah.
So it's rough.
You've phrased it perfectly, right? It's just MaxPax was forced into units which then he could turn into such useful units, right? So just double whammy for Wayne. They defended, they attacked. Wayne in the top right, down a map. Looking to bring it back on Solaris. We'll see if he can find some magic cats.
Yeah, because this guy is definitely a magician. Bottom left-hand side, it's MaxPax. Maybe the best Protoss in the world.
Maybe Max is short for
Only
magician.
other one in the conversation is... Yeah, maybe so. Hero's really the only other Protoss in the conversation at all, I feel like, for that title, right? So
Yes, absolutely.
definitely top 2.
Like, Classic, when he looks good, looks real good. But he doesn't have the consistency
really good, yeah.
of like a MaxPax.
Yeah.
So, you know, Classic has those days where he just doesn't look good. Like, he's not in the conversation at all, and that's the issue for him.
Yeah.
So, yeah, maybe if Classic can find
Because
that consistency,
yeah.
win a couple things.
Yeah, that's the difficult part for Classic. It's like when he looks good, because he's kind of like a Hearthstone type player that's very cerebral, it feels like, right? So when he finds that rhythm and he starts tricking you and he starts coming up with crazy strats and crazy builds and stuff like that, you're like, whoa, this guy has to be the GOAT of Protoss, right? Like, how can you come up with so much and like execute to that level and stuff like that? But sometimes, you know, it's the kind of person that is more prone to not be consistent because he's not playing solid every game. Like, his best games are where he shines with his creativity, with his problem solving on the fly and stuff like that, and that kind of thing is like impossible to replicate every game, I feel like.
I'm with you.
But I agree with you, Classic is so beast.
I'm with you. It's funny, Cats. You know, so often I come out, you say something, I'm just like, man, you said everything I agree with. I'm just like, I got nothing to add. You really nailed it. Good job, Cats.
Yeah, we've been watching these players for so long as well that it's so, you know, it's like you really feel like you get to know them on a personal level just from their play style. A lot of them, we do know personally as well, and like we've talked to them, and like, you know, we know that we have confirmed their approach on so many fronts that it's easy to talk confidently about like what they like to do and whatnot. There's couple of adepts here sneaking on in. Miss rally there from the drones, unfortunate due to the Evo chamber block. The adepts do go into the main, but Wayne is ready with a Linko Midi there. Unfortunately, not getting the full surround. Should kill one of the adepts, which takes a lot of the wins out of the sails of this MaxPax aggression. So the next one will just have to retreat. Punching a drone twice, much less likely than just syncing up 2 attacks onto 1 to kill it. So, you know, you kill 1 adept, you breathe a big sigh of relief as a Zerg.
Yep, makes your life a lot easier, a lot less threat, kind of sitting, waiting to come your way and trying to hurt you and punish you and all the rest of it. So, it was a good sign as our Oracle will linger around the mineral lines looking for some possibility of finding some drones, as we do see a couple of drones moving about there. And we are just going to go in, and we find ourselves too looking for 3. Missed microed a little bit. He actually went to attack but didn't quite move a bit too soon before the shot went off, so no mistake.
Yeah, nice angling on the retreat of Wayne, who does lose an extra drone here at the 3rd. So does save the initial 2 drones, but MaxPax goes straight for the mineral line. Luckily for Wayne, you know, the next queen was just about to spawn as well, so it probably makes and forces a little bit of a readjustment from MaxPax, who finds an extra drone at the natural, but the spore is done just in time. So, I mean, 4 drones, not, you know, not game ending for sure. Nice for MaxPax, but yeah, Wayne is very much in this game, so we have the early stage kind of gone, and now moving into the mid game. This is a game. This is a nice playground.
This is a game, isn't it? As we get ourselves the Twilight Forge coming through, the couple of gateways popping out, and the Revelation got the word out in the end. Just drops in as the Adepts and the Oracles combine to try and maybe find some damage here. So looking for the possibility of something, but not going to find it just yet. As the single Oracle gets by. I tell you what, it is just like 2 or 3 drones here and then 2 or 3 drones there. Now it's 10 workers in the game in total. This adds up. That's where the damage is. And now MaxPax is ahead by 5 workers. And okay, Wayne had a big round of drones on the way. But that's almost worse. It would have been better if he was down 5 workers because, hey, look, he's making a ton of units to come and kill MaxPax. It's not. He's trying to drone, and he's struggling to keep up.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a very good point, and that is where players like MaxPax find that consistency, right? Like look at his oracles; they're all in the red. So, you know, he gets the energy, he gets the shields, he goes back in again. Same thing that he was doing with the adepts last time. He just squeezes so much freaking value out of every unit that he can, that you may not see it in one punch and be like, wow, MaxPax just completely destroyed his opponent right there and then. But he is consistently looking for these opportunities, and he finds more than almost any Protoss player, right? Like a lot of opportunities to multitask and to find little edges here and there. Just really squeeze the juice out of every unit he has.
Yep. And just, Ling's going to work out over the left side. A few Stalkers going to move across. There's going to be some Lings showing up, and Stalkers get on top of those and just going to push those Lings back nice and quickly. So no real love gained on that one.
No love.
No love. Unfortunate.
That's the Lil Wayne and Eminem song.
Yeah.
I see what you're doing there.
That's exactly what I had on my mind.
Yeah. It's a great song. 4th base coming up.
Yeah, MaxPax is just
you like
going
it?
untouched. The song?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I've not heard it in a long time. But yeah, actually I do.
I love it.
That grip. Getting knocked out. Hatchery goes down. Revelate up the high ground to keep this push going. Again, it's like you said last game, there's no threat to being here. You know, he's got the backup plan, he's got the stasis wards that'll come down to protect these Stalkers. He can recall worst case scenario, but very soon he'll have Blink as well, plus acceleration zones to help him just accelerate away from these engagements should he need to. So there's just no risk here for MaxPax. As the Lings try and flank, that's going to be one of the better moves, but you blink back, you can play around the corner here if you have to. It's just tough to imagine there's much of a way back in this.
Yeah, I mean, the stasis, all the oracles surviving as well makes it so much more difficult to ever punish this army of creep, right? Like, cause if there was like one oracle, sure, like with the Lings around, you know, it could get dangerous for MaxPax on blink packs, but with 3 oracles, you're gonna need a whole lot of links after you get this around to actually punish this. So he is trading wonderfully here on the transition for Wayne. I mean, there's more links, Bane links, plus 2 melee, so he forgot about the patch maybe. Doesn't do too well no more.
It's funny because when I see this, but like at +2 melee nowadays, I'm like, do we like it though? Like, is it that good? Like, are these things really going to be able to kind of really justify that? Like, in the past, it was a no-brainer. Nowadays, we still see it sometimes, but it's generally not the option.
Yeah, definitely not. Like, I was talking to Scarlett about this, for example, and she was saying, like, maybe you still open +1 melee because +1 melee is actually good in the early stages. But then the nice thing about the +1 melee is it catapults you to +2 melee, which actually just kills probes in one shot, right? So it's an easy decision back then. But now, do you actually get the +2 melee or just go back for the range upgrades, which is going to be the brunt of your army otherwise? So, I mean, for Wayne, he is making a lot of circlings, a lot of banelings. The banelings are trying to run past the army and potentially into the mineral line, but actually run into a stasis trap as he continues to chase the army. And I mean, this is a good force from Wayne. He will have a few links actually stretched over to the 4th, where he will find a lot of damage. On the other side, MaxPax is killing units as well. Or is killing the 4th base of Wayne, as well as having Warpens in his main. So this is not completely uncontested. It's so wonderful to see both players kind of punching each other here as MaxPax continues to try to trade as efficiently as he can with the Stalkers, which can always blink back whenever they basically run out of a leash, of a fuel in the HP of the Nexus that is otherwise tanking for them. So Wayne will get pushed back, and when all is said and done, MaxPax loses a base, but he is retaking it, and Wayne loses a base, and you know, a little bit more than that perhaps at the main. So, well, it looked good on camera, and it looked like a strong attack from Wayne. It's MaxPax again that I think pulls out a little bit ahead.
Yeah, it's hard to just not be kind of a fan of where MaxPax is at. So, as you see, the Roaches and the Ravages will continue through. Just going to go pressing forwards, but then MaxPax can just sort of meet him and trade back and just do it all, right? So, just doing a great job of it. Again, just hard to really disagree with anything that's happening.
Great timing attack though from Wayne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the danger of it. Like, if he wasn't taking so much damage himself at the same time, right, then brilliant. But that's obviously the brilliance of MaxPax too. He knows when to set up, to have those counters ready, to have those answers as a solution to the large armies that he maybe can't deal with as easily, especially before he hits a big amount of splash damage. Let's just see the Stalkers blinking back one more time. And, well, again, there's just damage still coming through in the main base pretty much non-stop.
Yeah, and again, squeezing so much value out of all of these units, right? Like, he has a good bunch of Stalkers, but it's not like he decides, okay, like, I'm gonna forfeit that base, so I'm gonna go focus on my Warp Prism as the expected GG comes out. So it's not like he says, like, okay, I'm gonna basically forfeit the base that you have a stronghold on with all your units, and I'm just gonna tuck into my 3rd while I focus on the other 2 attacks that I have going on your side of the map. While he's doing those things, he's also saying, yeah, I'm gonna forfeit this base, but while you kill it, I'm gonna shoot as many volleys as I can onto your army, and you have to kill it, so I'm just gonna tax you a little bit, right? And that's the kind of thing that MaxPax can do, is where he can actually multitask on 3 fronts and get the extra value out of those Stalkers, where most players would just be like, okay, that base is gone, let me tuck into my 3rd and not worry about that and focus on my solo run base.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. Wow,
it's really wild. He's so good.
Site Delve for Game 3. Do you see this series changing direction at all? Do we think Wayne can get off to a start that does catch MaxPax off guard, or doesn't let him get bullied throughout the early stages? Because right now, the aggression hasn't worked. Trying to be a defender and play normally has just set him behind. What do you do as Wayne in this sort of position?
I mean, yeah, that's a question for Serral, not for me. Yeah, like, it's like, who else can beat MaxPax consistently, right? Like, this is the $1 million question for most Zerg players, I feel like, that have to face him. Fortunately, I do not. I would love for Wayne to continue to try wacky stuff, to try to do surprising different stuff, to throw MaxPax off his game however he can, because ultimately while MaxPax did make a name for his creativity and kind of like forging his own understanding of the game, he does trend towards pretty standard play within the bounds of what he has determined is his standard, if that makes sense. Like, he works on his build and then he kind of just tries to execute it. So he is a fairly methodical player. He can, I think, be thrown off, and maybe that's Wayne's best shot, but I'm not sure if this map is, you know, particularly wild or crazy. There's no golds, there's no purples, there's a ramp into the natural, there's no debris there, you know. It's just gonna be difficult.
Yeah, maybe we go completely flip the switch and do something crazy like Swarm Host, even though I don't think it's necessarily a great Swarm Host map. There's a couple of positions that might be okay. We'll have to even get there in the first place, though. Wayne, in the bottom right, has been having troubles throughout the early stages. Let's see if he can stand up against his opponent.
Yep. MaxPax, his opponent, leading the series pretty comfortably. Already with the pro block as well, so you know, like Wayne sent the drone at to get a hatchery at 16, ends up making the extra drone to drop the hatchery forward at 17, and you know, like this is the kind of thing where the game doesn't start in your favor already. But on this map, off of this hatchery, maybe a Roach Queen walk, break those rocks, right? Then there's a very short distance towards your opponent. So yeah, from this position that he's in after getting blocked, maybe that's an option. If we're looking for crazy mid-game or early game aggression, like he has to try something for sure, right?
100%. You can't. I mean, there's no great setup right now based on what we're seeing. So, yeah, gotta get a little bit wild as you see a Nexus going down, Cybercore coming up. I just wonder what it is. Maybe he takes a page out of his EVZ, but he's like, what if I just place down that Spire? If I just try get mutas from the very start? Like, I mean, honestly. Maybe not the best, because if you take damage on the way there, then your opponent hits you with Blink Stalkers. Probably not great, but if you can survive, if you can get to them, maybe that would be a way for him.
Yeah. And I mean, MaxPax similarities with the likes of Clem in terms of multitasking, but also with the likes of Serral in terms of just how good he is at scouting, right? So Spire, that type of thing is, I think, unlikely to catch him off guard. It's just so difficult, man. Like, he's just so freaking good and so active with all his units that it's so difficult to sneak anything past him. I kind of just want a full face-on frontal attack that makes use of Wayne's position on the map right now, which is, you know, that forward hatchery that has a very linear path towards MaxPax. So, like, he's sharp with the timings. I think, yeah, just make use of that. There's the creep tumor. I like it. He's doing it. I mean, is he doing it? It's just a creep tumor. But, yeah.
Making assumptions,
you know,
of
that
solo.
Would be the yeah.
That's one.
I mean, making assumptions of what I think is, you know, would be the best way to go about it. Like, maybe the most straightforward, but also the hardest to stop in a sense, because you're just kind of set up for it. And yeah, the creep tumor is exciting for that reason, because very forward as well, right? Like, very.
Yeah. Oh no,
that creep tumor, it's speaking to me.
I can definitely have visions of just a line of creeps straight up through the center of the map. I see it, man. Yeah. I can believe it is the Lings and the Queens that you come through there, catching the Adept. The other Adept is going to start shading out toward the center and just moves through the natural towards the main base as Ling Speed finishes up on the side of Wayne.
Yep, but MaxPax is so good. He already shaded back, knows exactly when that is going to be. The Oracle will have to come in the aid of the Adept. But at least you force the pulsar beam to be turned on if you are Wayne, so that Oracle will lose a little bit of its punching power on the other side of the map. And Wayne actually skirts towards MaxPax, and he will be aware that the Oracle is not there. The Adept has not fully regenerated its shields yet, so the sooner you engage, the better for Wayne. And he will do exactly that. Does take down the Adept, will not get a cancel on the pylon, but manages to activate the second pulsar beam as well. So all in all, a good start for Wayne, I think. And look at that creep. Look at that creep, Wardicio. It's happening. Roach Warren, Wardicio.
Roach Warren.
He turned around with a creep.
Well, maybe he just wants to creep. Maybe it's still just going as far forward as possible. Maybe. I don't know. I know that doesn't make sense.
I guess you could still break his rocks and siege his third, but it's, yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of a chokier area leading to the third at some point, so not sure. Oh, Oracle will fall.
Dies.
Poke champion.
That's definitely an opportunity as well, and we see 4 Overlords building, which is obviously usually a sign that, hey, we might be about to build a lot of roaches here, right? So, opportunity definitely seems abound.
Opportunity definitely seems abound. There's no Overlord speed, however, and there's no, like lair whatsoever. So we are very much gonna see what we were talking about. It's so early that there's not enough roaches to actually break those rocks, so he will just break his opponent's rocks, I would have to imagine. And yeah, I mean you have to smell it kind of if you're MaxPax. Is he actually just walking the queens without breaking the rocks? That's actually kind of wild.
I don't like that though, because what are you going to do when you get over to the front of your opponent's natural? Then you can, I mean, obviously you can kind of push up the natural ramp or push up into the third, but either way, you're pushing up a ramp, right? As right now, drones are going to
Yeah.
pull away, so the Adept's doing serious damage on this base. MaxPax sees Roaches out, he sees Lings as well. Does he recognize what he needs? I mean, he's building batteries everywhere. And I love the Dark Shrine, because right now, with what Rain has, it's a guaranteed defense and also a guaranteed win if there's nothing, you know, Spore Crawler related back at home.
Yep, and that's where Wayne, probably his best move here is to kill this third and start transitioning as soon as he realizes that this third is being forfeit, which it very much looks like it is, right? Like, if he could scout the natural and be like, oh, you've committed defenses here, and you're like, okay, you forfeited your third, you stop making... Brilliant. Wayne is making drones right now, so this is exactly what he needs to do. If he can just defend, if he can just situate himself well against the DTs, pull back, ignore the natural, he's in a good spot.
Just needs to be ready
really
against
good
the
here.
DTs.
No overcommitment yet. Yeah.
The good news there is obviously that there's no way to get DTs across the map apart from just running them, so there's a chance that they'll be seen. Flare on the way too, so you'll soon enough be able to morph an Overseer as well, as he is pushing up. There are the DTs warping in. This army see it, we drop a Revelation, the DTs will start chasing to the other side. Currently still no spores on the way. I don't know if Wayne really realized
he hasn't
this.
seen him, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, he's seen him.
No. I think he bowed for the Oracles, no?
Oh, yeah, because he's still not making spores.
Yeah, I think MaxPax thought what you thought, though, which is that he'd seen them. So he's going to start killing creep tumors, and now Wayne's like, oh my goodness, boy, do I need spores. So he starts up a spore. He's just about going to be okay.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Great read, Worthy. Yeah. That's amazing, actually. That's exactly what happened, right? Like, MaxPax also thought that he had seen him, so settled for the creep tumors. That's so cool. Now, these DTs, I mean, yeah, basically by grace of the gods, are gonna be not gonna be able to do too much damage. Overseers will be ready whenever Wayne wants to morph him, and he is definitely in the best position we've had him so far in this series, and I would dare say a very strong position at this point. Classic Wayne Spire on a position where he shouldn't die before he can get to Mutas, but really it's going to be those Mutas that are going to look to turn the tides of this game and do enough damage to bring a victory to Wayne, hopefully. So let's see if he can get it.
Let's see if he can get it. Obviously, on MaxPax's side, he did lose the third, but when you sacrifice the third and forfeit, as you said at the time, it's one of those moves where it really allows you to do that, because as long as you don't waste units and resources trying to hold it and then lose it, you can generally still be okay. And that's what you're kind of seeing now. That's why MaxPax is actually ahead on supply, because actually just getting the third is probably not enough from Wayne overall. That's why something like the Mutas right now need to be survived until, and you know, then we need to see those Mutas kind of step it up a little bit.
Yeah, I still like the position of Wayne, right? Like, there's a lot of a bank that hasn't been used, and a lot banked into the Spire, a lot of time into it. And this is a very early Spire that you normally don't have the room to go for. So I love that he used that space that he created for himself. He says, I have a lot of army left over. The DTs didn't really do much on the counter offense. So I think that if Wayne can get those 9-10 Muta out, he will be in an incredible position to close this out.
Yeah.
Just gotta believe Wardicho.
Okay.
5-game series comeback.
I'll believe then, cats. Stalker's obviously still on the front lines. If they realize that there's Mutas being made, I mean, actually, Wayne doubles down on making Roaches. And I think he feels the same, though. Yeah. He's afraid of how powerful this army is, especially if he starts to build Mutas, that this army of MaxPax might just kind of punch through him. So he makes more Roaches. That delays the Mutalist build. We're still stacking 1,100 gas as MaxPax continues to pick up free trades with the Blink Stalkers.
And he takes a third. I hate him. Look at him. He's so freaking good, man. He just trades time and time again and like takes the most daring positions, and it's so difficult to punish him, apparently. Cannon back at home. That's not going to do much. Instant warping just to add insult to injury as Wayne tries to push on forward. The Overseer will reveal the stasis traps, but the Roaches are a little bit too short range to actually activate him without their bodies, so you would have to expose the Ravagers otherwise. 11 Muta now on the way. If Wayne can continue to hold this position without them, he will be in a good spot, but the first one does get spotted right away. Let's see what MaxPax's reaction is if he was looking. Extra 2 cannons going down.
Yeah, extra cannons, preparations against those Mutas. The only base that's really vulnerable is that left one, which has not really got anything on it because it's only just now building, so got to deal with that. But I think MaxPax will also know to just pull the trigger offensively as well, right? Which he's been set up to do. He just needed the information, so now he starts to go. He's losing some probes on the other side, but I think that's just going to make him push harder.
Harder indeed. I mean, if you're Wayne, maybe just chill for a little bit, make some Ravagers, but Cannons finish on the other side. That's gotta be depressing. MaxPax just so very good at gathering information just by sheer virtue of being able to be aggressive and proactive out on the map while doing everything else that he needs to be doing. Behind us, he has taken that fourth that we were talking about as well. And Wayne is steadily running out of steam in a game that looked promising for him, but no longer does.
Nope, no longer does. He blink forward, Queen goes down, the Ravagers are dropping. Game is called from Wayne. MaxPax 3, Wayne 0.